coming into hospital is frightening for anybody. None of us want to do that. So what we try to do is make it as warm and as comfortable as possible for our clients to come in. And that, I think, is different. And we've done this, years ago. We started doing this very early on, this sort of hospital come hotel feel to it. So that's why I love it when I go out and people say, oh, I loved it coming to your hospital. I mean, who else says that, to go to hospital? People actually enjoy their time with us. We had to change the whole look of the hospital because we need to have the modern equipment. But so we have the heritage walls and the heritage part of the hospital, but inside it, it's very modern. And I think that surprises people sometimes. I didn't want us to be lonely, and just to be seen as sat up on the peak, because that's not who we are. And I think that was changing the perception of being, on the peak and looking down, which is not us. We wanted to be part of Hong Kong, part of the community. We now operate clinics in Central and Cane Road, which goes out into the community. We do a lot of work with charities, with our corporate clients, again, which means that we do work within Hong Kong, not just here at the hospital. My introduction to Matilda was a couple complaining because they hadn't got enough champagne glasses. Yeah, that was pretty much about my second day, where I'd come from India where they had nothing. So it really was a big contrast for me. And you have to get your head around that. It's really important, otherwise you can become quite cynical. So I think for me now, we see that contrast again. We do a lot of charity work. So we bring in children from Philippines or from China to have their operation. So in one room, we can have CEO, Fortune 500 company at Matilda having their surgery. Next room, exactly the same care, exactly the same nurses, we can have a child from an ultra poor region of the Philippines where they are living on less than 50 US cents a day. So that is the difference between the, so it's great for us because then for our staff as well, you get to give back. So it's a really positive, so that's what I'm really proud of about Matilda. I like going to Sham Shui Po, that area. I like walking, just going off and walking up a road and seeing what I find. And you can find, I love it when you come across the traditional craftspeople. You find people making lanterns, people making mahjong tiles, that sort of thing. Really enjoy it. And when people say to me, home, when are you going home? I don't understand the question because this is my home. So when somebody says, people assume that when they say to me home, I mean UK, but I've lived in Hong Kong longer than I've lived anywhere else. So this is home. I met my husband here. My daughter was born here. So this is home. But I don't think Hong Kong's an easy place to retire in. It's very fast. And I think being old in Hong Kong is hard work. That would be my, I'd like to stay here, but I think it might not be my choice at the end of the day. I think sometimes you have to go somewhere that is quieter and cheaper.